Hi everybody, Igor Minchis here for Union Studio Art Design. For past 25 years I worked for many companies sculpting molds for ceramic and glass industry. But the only way to know for sure that your mold works is testing it. So I do test all my molds before releasing them to the public. For last decade I sculpted molds for IMDceramics. And today we will test the mold IMD-1069 triangular glass plate. This is a very unique mold design. I came up with the line of those molds. And today we will experiment with the mold IMD-1069 triangular plate. This mold is from the new concept line we called straight edge. The whole idea was to create a new line of molds, minimalizing factor of unpredictability without reducing artistic potential of an artist. As you can see, this cavity will assure exactly same edge every time you use it.
There are many different ways you can make this triangular mold. Let's start with the easiest one. So first we have to cut our glass to fit the mold. The whole idea, the glass have to be a little bit smaller than this edge of the mold. So it doesn't have to go all the way in, because in the fire it will have to only cover that part. So you kind of calculate, guesstimate how much glass needed to cover the wall, the vertical sloped walls of the mold, because the rest will just fit with frit, fill with frit. So roughly I'm estimating something like that. So I'm making my markings, and now we'll just cut us a piece of glass. For most of you it's not a rocket science. Boom! We got us a triangular piece of glass. And that's an exact size what we needed. Now, I personally prefer to get rid of the sharp corners. First of all, they stick too far, and second, we really don't need it. So I pretty much want to cut that much on all the corners. So, and just as before, it's really not a rocket science. Okay, take our magic breakers. Boom, boom, boom. So that's a basic piece of glass we will need for making a triangular plate. Now, from here you have several options. The simplest one is you can just use it as is, just fill it up, the cavity with a frit, put your piece of glass on top, and fire. Please notice the teeny tiny vent holes. They will allow air to escape and prevent glass from bubbling. So, like I said, that's the easiest way to do it. Might be a little bit too simple for my taste, but it will work. We'll make something a little bit more complex today. So we'll just make a mosaic on this glass and fuse the mosaic in triangular shape before we will fold it on the mold. And for this project today, I will just gonna use a combination of translucent and opaque glass leftovers. And what you have to do, just find a combination of colors which you think will go together well. My personal favorites, I like combination of black and red and some grayish colors. And just start cutting this mosaic. I'm not gonna bore you with straight cuts which you are most familiar with, so we'll just come back when I will get the cuts ready. Now when we prepare our pieces, we can just assemble them on clear glass background, and it's gonna look something like that. Something like that, yes. I think that's the wrong one. Yep, that's the right one. So when you position your pieces, very important is to clean each piece of glass with a rubbing alcohol, because like well, regardless how clean your shop is, there is always dust and all kinds of particles settle on the glass, and it can have some very unpredictable results. So you just clean your pieces and assemble it back on a clear piece of glass backing, and it will be ready. And now when we cleaned our glass, I mean backing and pieces, we just assemble them together. As you can see, the cuts don't have to be perfect, simply because the glass will melt together in the kiln. And like that, it's ready to go into the kiln. Next step is going to be preparing the mold. This is a mold IMD-1069, and like every ceramic mold, the important part is not just important, crucial part is to kiln wash it. So to cover it with some coating which will prevent glass from sticking. In my case, I really like MR97, which is available in Delphi. It's not cheap, but it's fantastic. Works very easy, doesn't leave any streaks, works great. Okay, let's kiln wash the mold first. Like I said, this spray works very easily. One thing to remember, don't use it too much, because if it will start leaking, it will leak streaks. And make sure the walls are covered. Something like that. You see, I've got it a little bit too much here, so it has to dry. But it dries very fast, works great. So let's start assembling our mold. Now we'll have to take care of the rim, decorate it in some way. The easiest way, just fill it up with frit almost to the rim, and it will create very nice rim for the plate. In my case, I like to get a little bit more elaborate, and also will fill it with pieces of glass like leftovers and stuff like that. So what we'll do, we'll just cut pieces of glass to fill that indented area. In order to get more or less precise size for the cut, you can kind of roughly indicate, how broad your indentation is, and just start cutting, strips of glass that width. Okay, and now when you prepare a whole bunch of nice cuts, they will fit in pretty nicely. So all you have to do, just go ahead and assemble them in the mold. So once again, remember, the mold have to be kiln washed, otherwise you'll be in for the big unpleasant surprise. Just keep arranging them. Well, now once again, since we assemble all the pieces, we have a couple of different options to go from here. You can either just fill it up with frit, or my favorite, I just cut extra pieces, like black glass, to put on top of the mosaic which we already assembled. Well, reason for it, just not enough thickness of glass if you just leave it, that one layer. So when you work with two layers, it's always better. But you will have to experiment with it for yourself. So let's just assemble black strips, and that will pretty much be the end of our exercise. Okay, and now is our mold and the bacon ready to go into the kiln. There is only one thing left. As you can see, you don't have to be very precise. I mean, it can be a little bit sloppy because it's a first fire, and after the first fire we will see all the imperfections and can fix them a little bit later. But one thing I like to show you is how to use IMD-1069 mold. It's a very neat mold which will allow us to make legs which we can later attach to our plate, so it would be suspended from the table. Once again, mold have to be kiln washed, and now when it's kiln washed, we can fill it up with frit and make us nice legs. And when using IMD-1107, so very simple, straightforward thing. To make it faster, I fill it up a little bit with frit. If you want, you can fill this thing all the way up to the rim with frit, or you can experiment, put different color glass in it, it will create you stripes when your legs are finished. You don't have to be very precise because you will have a good result regardless. And there is no right or wrong way of doing it as long as you're having fun. So just keep filling this mold up. And just to ensure we have a same amount of glass in every cavity, we'll just fill the rest up with clear frit, because that will assure that we have a same size legs. It's nice, always nice to have same size legs. And this is it. We're ready to load project into the kiln, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Hey guys, and as you can see, we've got ourselves a pretty well baked bottom triangular, which will create a bottom for the plate, and pretty well baked rim for the plate. So now we have to do the final step, which is pretty basic, just kind of go over it with a black frit to make sure that we have a nice equal baking. You don't have to put too much, just enough to make a nice clean edge. Cut. And we'll just go over it with a brush just a little bit to make sure everything is nice and neat. And that's about it. Now we take our triangle for the bottom of the plate, apply it nicely in the middle of the mold, and it's ready to go into the kiln. So we'll bake it tonight, and we'll see the result tomorrow. Okay, and finally the moment of truth. We'll see what we got. Usually I prefer to take pieces out of the kiln when it's still around 200 degrees, but in this case it's already cooler than that. So let's see what we have. Voila! Looks pretty good. Let's see what we have. Voila! And remove the mold. It removes easily, and we got ourselves a plate.